Dear students, I would like to read and explain for you page number 3 of your first prose, being neighborly. Meg went back to toast her fate and read Ivanhoe, and Joe began to dig paths with great energy. The snow was light, and with a broom she soon swept a path all round the garden for Beth to walk in when the sun came out and the invalid dolls needed air. Now, the garden separated the March's house from that of Mr. Lawrence. Both stood in a suburb of the city, which was still country like, with groves and lawns, large gardens, and quiet streets. A low hedge parted the two estates. On one side was an old brown house, looking rather bare and shabby, robbed of the vines that in summer covered its walls and the flowers which then surrounded it. On the other side was a stately stone mansion, plainly betokening every sort of comfort and luxury, from the big coach house and well kept grounds to the conservatory and the glimpses of lovely things one caught between the rich curtains. Yet it seemed a lonely, lifeless sort of house, for no children frolicked on the lawn, no motherly face ever smiled at the windows, and few people went in and out except the old gentleman and his grandson. Well, here we see Meg is reading a novel, Ivanhoe, a historical novel by Walter Scott, while warming her feet, and Joe is sweeping the path all round the garden so that Beth, her sister, can play with her invalid dolls. Invalid dolls, the dolls with broken limbs, which she loves very much. The garden separates the March's house and Mr. Lawrence's house. It is a countryside, a quiet place. A low hedge parted the two estates. Hedge, a boundary formed by the bushes. One side an old house in shabby and poor condition, and on other side a stately stone mansion, a majestic, large, impressive house. This house seems very much luxurious, full of comforts, and yet this house seems lonely and lifeless. Only an old gentleman and his grandson live in this house. Well, now I am reading the next paragraph. To Joe's lively fancy, this fine house seemed a kind of enchanted palace, full of splendors and delights which no one enjoyed. She had long wanted to behold these hidden glories and to know the Lawrence boy, who looked as if he would like to be known if he only knew how to begin. Since the party she had been more eager than ever and had planned many ways of making friends with him, but he had not been seen lately, and Joe began to think he had gone away, when she one day spied a brown face at an upper window, looking wistfully down into their garden, where Beth and Amy were snowballing one another. Here we see Joe is very interested to pay a visit to this fine house. He wants to see hidden glories over there, the beauty of the house, and she wants to know the Lawrence boy. She plans to make friendship with him, and the boy also seems very eager to make friendship with these sisters. Now we are seeing the last paragraph of page number 3. That boy is suffering for society and fun, she said to herself. His grandpa does not know what's good for him and keeps him shut up all alone. He needs a party of jolly boys to play with, or somebody young and lively. I have a great mind to go over and tell the gentleman so. Joe thinks that boy is suffering for society and fun. His grandpa does not know the need of this boy. He captivates him within the four walls in that palace, and Joe thinks this boy needs to mix up with other youngsters and make friendship with them. Joe has a strong mind to enter that mansion one day and tell his grandfather to allow the boy to come out of the palace and mix up with the other persons, especially the friends of his age. Dear students, I just would like to stop today. If you like my explanation, my reading and explanation of this excerpt, kindly let me know. I shall prepare it in my next video. Till then, bye.